What's going on, Saints fans? Before we dive into some Saints free agency buzz, I got to ask you this question. Who did you pick to win March Madness? We've already had a lot of fun in the bracket so far. Hopefully, your bracket isn't busted. I want you to get down in the comments section and share your thoughts. So the Saints have been linked to Asante Samuel, the cornerback that is still a free agent, and there is a couple of reasons why it does make sense. So we're going to dive into that, the pros, the cons, and ultimately whether or not I would make this addition. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Bleacher Report. They put out an article suggesting, top landing spots for some of the top free agents still available. And for Asante Samuel Jr., I mentioned the New Orleans Saints. So really quick, I just want to take a look at what the cornerback room looks like in New Orleans. Isaac Yiadom, he is a recent addition in free agency. That contract is super, super nice, by the way. Very, very cheap, low risk, very high reward type contract. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I'm excited to see more from him. Alontae Taylor, I love him as a prospect. I love him as a football player. A very disruptive guy. But Rico Payton, Rajon Wright, and then you don't really have many other options in terms of the cornerback group. You just need more high-end talent, in my opinion. So in terms of what's good for Asante Samuel, I like the mobility. I think that he is an agile football player. He is athletic. And, the fact that he's only 25 years old tells me that he still has a lot of tread on the tires. And, he can still play some good football. He also has excellent ball skills, which, you've seen in the past. He's really good at getting past breakups and making plays on the ball. And, look at the stats in the production last year. Only 4 games played because he was dealing with some injuries and, missed time due to some stingers and whatnot. But he did allow 13 out of 19 completions, 143 yards, 2 pass breakups, 0 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 91. I know that the numbers don't jump off the screen, but he is a player that's extremely productive when he's on the field. And he's also a guy who I think the Saints could benefit from having around in the locker room. Now, here's what Bleacher Report had to say to defend this idea. New Orleans could use a quality cover corner after trading Marshawn Lattimore at last year's trade deadline. The Saints also employ Kellen Moore as their head coach and Brandon Staley as their defensive coordinator. Staley was Los Angeles' head coach for most of Asante Samuel's first 3 seasons. He was fired partway through the 2023 campaign. Moore was with the Chargers as the OC in 2023. So there is familiarity, not just from the head coach, not just the defensive coordinator, but both of them. And, one thing that they didn't mention was also Paulson Adebo has walked in free agency. He signed with the New York Football Giants, and I do think that cornerback is a need for the New Orleans Saints. So we talked good, let's talk the bad. He is a little bit of a liability, and when it comes to stopping the run, he is truly just more of a coverage corner, and the Saints were bad against the run, so that's something worth mentioning. And he also has a total of 27 missed tackles over the course of his career. Got to clean that up if you're asking me. And, he only played 4 games in 2024, so there is health issues and there is those concerns, and I think that those are realistic concerns, but if he can stay on the field and be available, then, you can put at least some of this to rest. Now, we've gone through some good, we've gone through some bad, we've gone through what Bleacher Report thinks, and in a moment, I'm going to tell you what I think. Would you sign Asante Samuel? Just give me a sign or a pass down in the comment section. This is going to be the pinned comment. So if YouTube throws an ad break your way, get down in the comment section, share your thoughts, and let me know what you think. So my take on this, I would 100% sign Asante Samuel as an NFL free agent because, quite frankly, New Orleans needs cornerback depth. Not just in terms of players that are lower on the roster, but they need more high-end depth as well. And I'm a big fan of Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor, and Isaac Yiadom. However, you have to also be realistic and sit here and say you need another guy. Like Isaac Yiadom, he's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But quite frankly, you got to add more talent to the roster. And if you do that, it makes the draft, it makes it a lesser need. So you can avoid having to go and prioritize cornerback in round 1. Like, you can go and get somebody else. I mean, look at the career snaps here. The Saints need to have more experience. They do not have nearly enough experience on the field. Alontae Taylor, for what it's worth, he was top 5 in total snaps according to PFF last year in terms of cornerbacks, which is pretty cool. But Isaac Yiadom in his career has played less snaps than Alontae Taylor, and he's been around longer. Kool-Aid McKinstry, he's coming off of his first season. Rico Payton was a low-end roster guy. So, my point being, the Saints don't have a lot of experience. They don't have a lot of They don't have a lot of, run together, and they also a team that, quite frankly, just needs to add to the depth chart. You need to have guys who have been there and done that and played at a high level. And, the fact that Asante Samuel is still so young, there's still a lot that he can do and a lot that he can prove over the course of an extended NFL career. Now, Bleacher Report, I will say this, it's worth noting. They did link Asante Samuel to the Commanders as well. So, there are going to be teams that are interested in Asante Samuel. Will he sign now or will he sign later? I'm not totally sure, because at the end of the day, I feel like the Saints should try to make a signing before the draft. And, if you do make a signing before the draft, it becomes a lesser need when you get to the draft. So you don't have to prioritize in round 1 or round 2 going to get a quarterback. You can survive and you can justify going and getting a Tet McMillan and maybe a Jackson Dart in round 2. Or, you can wait till round 2 to get a guy at the cornerback position. I just think that it makes a lot of sense. There's clear ties to Asante Samuel and the New Orleans Saints. It just makes way too much sense in the world. So for me personally, I just say go ahead and sign him. Cross that need off the list. You can make it a little bit less of a priority. And then, hey, you can still add talent in the draft after signing him. Just because you signed him doesn't mean you have to not add another cornerback throughout the offseason. We are on the road to 43K. So for this video, the goal is just to get to the next milestone. We need 57 new subscribers. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 43,000. But before we do that, we got to get to 42,700. So hit the sub button if you haven't already, and if you're a diehard Saints fan. Also, down in the comment section, I was scrolling through Fanatics. I was looking to get my dad a new Father's Day gift, and I'm going to be honest, I saw this shirt. I'm not going to get him the shirt because it's just not his style, but it is 100% my style. It's the catch of Alvin Kamara one-handed from Cedric Wilson. Fun fact, on my birthday, so I honestly have to go get it. Literally says my birthday on there. It's my favorite player. Like, come on. It makes too much sense. So I'm using the link in the comments and description, chatsports.com/Kamara shirt. You can do the same thing. Link is in the comments and description, like I just said. Go get yourself this awesome shirt, a new jersey, a hat, whatever you want by navigating the Fanatics website through this link. Let's go back in time and take a look at what Asante Samuel has done over the past few seasons. Obviously, 2024, he wasn't very available, only the 4 games played. However, in 2023 and in 2022, all 17 games, he was available. And in those contests, 1 tackle for loss, 13 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions in 2023. And then 1 tackle for loss, 11 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions in 2022. So I think that that's some really good production. And to be totally honest, he's a player that I think the Saints, like I've said, could benefit from bringing in. And if New Orleans wants to sign one more cornerback, I am 100% all in on that, because quite frankly, it would make me feel so much better about the cornerback position. Like I said, there's not a lot of run. There's not a lot of reps. There's not a lot of experience in the cornerback room, and that makes me really nervous. I get it. Having a young group that you can develop is fun, but I think that having a veteran around like Asante Samuel can only make everyone's job a little bit easier, and I think that it can just make everyone feel a little bit better. And plus, you can still add players in the draft. I don't think that you just sign a player and it's, all right, you don't have to do anything. So if you don't want to go with Asante Samuel, here's a couple other options. Why not Stephon Gilmore? He's a little bit older, but he is a very proven player. Rasul Douglas, he's also available. Mike Hilton. Obviously, Asante Samuel is the youngest on this in terms of this group right here. I also will add that Kendall Fuller, Tre'Davious White, and Shaq Griffin are available too. So, not a lot of options that are intriguing. Some decent names, but nobody really stands out more than Asante Samuel Jr. So, for me personally, I say go and sign him, and then also address this in round 2, round 3, or something in the draft. You have 6 picks in the top 150. So, you can get a lot of talent. You can add a lot of great players to your roster. But go and make a good decision. Sign Asante Samuel to a smart contract. Don't overpay him. Don't underpay him. Make sure it's a fair contract so he sticks around, but also don't overpay and blow a bunch of money. You have over $30 million of cap space to spend this offseason. You don't need to spend all of it. Joey, what about like $8, $10 million this year for Asante Samuel? 15? I feel like that's fair. I feel like he would take that deal. Plus, you get to link back up with Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore, and you get to be in the city where the best food in the whole wide world is. So that's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Now I'll ask you this just to round this out. How big of a need is the cornerback position? It's Scale it for me 1 to 100. 1 meaning it's not a big need whatsoever. You can honestly just avoid adding any more players. 100 meaning you need a cornerback right this second. It's take my money, take my money, take my first-round draft pick. That's what I'm wanting to hear from you guys. Scale it down in the comment section. Y'all stay golden. Have a wonderful weekend. Go Hogs. I hope we didn't lose by the time this video goes out because this is going out tomorrow. We're filming this on Thursday. Dude, I'll tell you what, if Arkansas loses, this is going to be really funny. So y'all stay golden. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.